And we're live. I think we're officially in double digits now, episode 10. Mr. Will Reynolds was episode 9, I want to say. So officially cracked the double digits
Oh,
here.
right on. Holy moly. That's an accomplishment. I forgot what the hell the stat is that most podcasts don't get past I want to say 25
No, it was
episodes or
10.
something like that.
It was 10.
Is it 10?
We're here.
All right, well, let's make sure well, we got to get past this and then we got to get 11 and then we'll be official. And we'll see from there, but yeah, no, it's been good, man. I think it's like a cathartic exercise of the week of cuz we typically record these at the end of the week and it's kind of like a decompression session. Sets my Friday up. I know you're kind of East Coast, so you're midday, but it's this has been good. I mean, I don't care if people don't listen.
It's all
But
about the
hopefully
clips, baby.
we'll pick up some traction. Yeah, dude, the clips are great. The conversation's good. And it just helps. I mean, how often it's kind of like journaling a little bit in my mind, where it's like how often you get time to like sit down and reflect on the week or things that you've heard about, talk to another individual about it. Um, yeah, I think it's just helpful in a lot of different ways. So, right on.
Plus, I feel like it keeps me honest here. Of like, you got to kind of like keep a pulse on what's going on. Like you don't want to, even if nobody is like really listening like that, you really got to like make sure we're bringing some like interesting topics to the table here. So like having a pulse on the industry, I feel like it just forces you to like get in that rhythm there.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's there's one other podcast. I forgot what it is. I'd shout them out if I remember, but uh, they're internet marketing related. And like, if I'm out a week and haven't checked the news or something like that, and I'm like looking back through it, I'm like, oh, the topics you're talking about, if I know about it, I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm still relevant. I know if they're talking about it and I know what it is, like I haven't missed too much. Or if they're talking about something I don't know, I'm like, oh, I should probably get checked in on that. But I mean, I've always throughout my career have had like an RSS feed, if even people know what that is. Um, RSS feeds of blogs from like back in the day, and there's still plenty of websites that out there that you can subscribe to outside of like newsletters. That's kind of like my newspaper. That's dwindled over the years as far as people that are actually posting on blogs, news source information. But that's always been something that try to stay relevant, right? Every morning I just look at the feed for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Now it's a mix of feed and newsletters that come across.
So
But
wait,
yeah, it's good. I think you come across things you don't know.
you still have your RSS feed? Like, so you just have it connected to a couple different like I guess blogs that you follow here?
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. I had to dwindle it down to where like there's nobody's posting on blog posts anymore.
Yeah.
Outside of like Search Engine Roundtable and Search Engine Journal. What's the other one? SMX or whatever that one is. The one Danny Sullivan founded. Like those are probably like the only three. Like all the other like company blogs that are out there, they just don't update anymore. It's pretty crazy. I'll have to take a screenshot of like, yeah, actually, I'll just share my screen real quick.
Yeah, I don't think you ever
Screen.
mentioned this before.
Yeah, it's just kind of a dying breed of like what's here. So I use a service called Net Vibes. It's free. So like I have two tabs: best, which is like my favorite ones that people would post to, and you see these like they're grayed out. They're just like no new articles published in the last few months or weeks. That there's just nothing new. So like Search Engine Roundtable always has stuff publishing. John Loomer, he's pretty good. He's more Facebook stuff. These are like my top ones but it's kind of gone quiet here. And then you get into like my other feed where it's like I have Hacker News that's always updated, but then like Google's blogs here, SEO Books and Classic. Aaron, he's an old school SEO guy. He goes on a rant like maybe once a quarter. Um, Moz is updating, but like all these other guys, man, like dude, it's like dating myself. Like Stunt Doubles in here, Irish Wonder. These are old school SEO guys. But even like Sear, like I don't know if the feed's broken. I don't see it here. David Naylor's an old SEO guy too, but it's like all these feeds have just stopped updating. It's where I get probably now 75% of my news from feeds or from email. So I think that's kind of transitioned. But yeah, this is what I would use. I would like when I was training SEO people that would come on board, like I would set them up with like an RSS feed of like, hey, here's like 5 sites, just check it daily.
That's sick.
But those are kind of dwindling. So, but yeah, that's how I've kept on pace with things. I think just the way it's being served is different. Blogs are just not being published anymore. I don't think it's important. I
Net
don't know.
vibes. I
Some
kind of
people
I
are on
kind of want to like
LinkedIn.
check that out. Yeah, to your point,
Yeah, I mean, it's just an old school RSS feed.
I feel like most people who historically were blogging now are tweeting or have their own newsletter. It
Yeah.
seems like that's been like the push is just like Twitter threads. I mean, obviously like some LinkedIn content here, but like Twitter threads and newsletters just like blew up these past couple of years here.
Yeah, dude, Twitter is kind of wild because I mean, I joined when it first started. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at my profile of like when I started, and it was definitely very active. And then it kind of went dark on the community a bit for a bit. Now it's like you said, it's kind of reemerged. I don't know. I just can't get into it.
Well, I mean we had an agenda here, but like just to take us off
Yeah.
course a little bit here. I think talking about like newsletters and newsletters blowing up and everything like that. I've recently listened to a podcast and I forget it's a newer one that I came across. He's like a younger dude and posts a lot of like AI content as of late, but like SaaS content and like how you could essentially like how you could like make money online. And he'll like interview like these founders of these of different companies. So he did an interview with the founder of
Ooh.
Beehiiv here. Um,
What's the podcast that you're listening to or the newsletter?
so let me see if I could pull this up here just to give this dude some credit because I've recently listened to it. Okay, so it's Brett Malinowski. So Brett Malinowski, he's got this YouTube channel, the Brett Way. We're gonna make it. So Brett Malinowski, and I would definitely encourage you to check out the interview that he did with the founder of Beehiiv. Um,
Hmm.
the founder of Beehiiv, and let
I
me
just
pull up
pulled up
his
the
name.
YouTube
It's
channel.
something Dank. I forget, like Ryan Dank or something like that. What is his name? Tyler Dank.
This guy,
So Tyler Dank,
interesting.
he's the founder of Beehiiv. Awesome interview. Like he just pretty much lays out his entire journey. This dude was he got hired out of college. He was friends with Austin Reef of Morning Brew. So essentially like he was out of college, wasn't really sure what he was going to do. They hired him at Morning Brew and then he became like he didn't even have like a formal title, but essentially like one of like a growth person at the company there, and he really helped build like a lot of the automations in the background to help grow Morning Brew, the newsletter. If you don't know like what Morning Brew is, I would encourage you to like just subscribe to it. It's like 5 minute read in the morning from
I'm
like
on
top
it.
news stories. Are you on there?
It's it's one something. It's morning. I think it's a morning brew that I'm on. Yeah, it's the one that I get daily that I check out in the morning every morning when I'm sitting in bed still. Start the day.
Dude, it's great. So he was like one of the founding members there. Like he didn't found the company, but like first five hires there, and he worked there for 3 years, and he really like helped build out their like platform, and like a lot of like their email like growth hacks essentially. He then left after like 3 years. He went to Google for like a little stint because he felt like he wanted a little bit more like structure, essentially what he was saying there. And like
Hmm.
Morning Brew was like a scrappy startup. He wanted to like get a better like project management system from Google. He ended up working there for like 10 months and he was building Beehiiv in the background while he was there. Beehiiv is now 2 years old. So they're an email newsletter platform. Um, and here, I'll just
I'm just pulling
share
it
my
up.
screen real quick. And I had a couple like really interesting takeaways, I think, from this episode here. So Beehiiv, it's a newsletter platform. It seems really cool. I haven't used it before, but essentially, if like you're going to have like an email newsletter, they'll help you build out a landing page, your newsletter with templates. It's got a bunch of really cool like analytics on the platform. It seems like um, it could help you grow. Like a lot of what he spoke about was like their referral program at Morning Brew and how they like hack their way to like just gain subscribers over time outside of just like paid subscriptions or outside of like using like Facebook paid ads. Um, so he brought over like a lot of this and into this platform here. One of the cool stories here down at the bottom. I don't know if you follow Sean Purry at all and like My First Million podcast. Another podcast recommendation there. He launched Milk Road and they got acquired within like their first year of their newsletter. it was like honestly really good timing because he's got a huge podcast and like it was a crypto bull run during the time. So like Milk Road is all things like
Hmm.
crypto, but they used Beehiiv platform, and there was a couple of interesting tactics that I think they used off the start here to help grow their newsletter. I do want to get your thoughts on one thing that they're currently in the works on. But he said one of the like key components of their success with Beehiiv off the start was they essentially like would tweet out, "Hey, we're like working on this platform. Would anybody like want to potentially like test this platform and utilize it?" He got a handful of individuals who had large newsletters who then started like helping, not helping, but like testing out the product and eventually like went over to their platform. So he immediately got some individuals who had large followings, which helped grow the platform naturally, which I thought was pretty interesting. The one thing that he mentioned in the platform space was, or in the email newsletter spaces, a lot of ways that individuals monetize newsletters is from like ad placements. And if you're running a newsletter similar to a podcast, like you're going to be working with sales teams to like sell ad inventory, and it's a very manual process. And it's kind of like it's not the best process ever where like you're gonna have to like send like sometimes screenshots to say like, hey, here's how many people open my newsletter, here's my open rates, etc. Like it's kind of like a clunky process there. He was involved a lot in the morning brew, like that component of like setting up their ad placements and A B testing certain things within ad platform. He said one thing that's on the roadmap that's not currently out now is like he essentially wants to build Facebook ads platforms for email newsletters. So instead of like people having to like do one-to-one outreach, they're going to get to the point where you could be an agency owner, you could then have a Beehiiv account, and essentially you could just buy ad placements for your client. So you could tell your client, "Hey, we're going to do newsletter promotions. Here's your target demo." And then Beehiiv is going to do those placements for you. You're essentially just going to provide like copy, creative, maybe some like targeting demo options, etc. I thought that was fascinating. If especially in the world where like maybe cookie tracking is going away here and the importance of first party data, if you could have a seamless integration to a newsletter platform and buy media in there, I was like, dude, that is such a smart idea, and was just curious to get like your general thoughts there.
Yeah, it's really fucking smart. Based on past experience, we have had clients. I'm not sure where this technology is at right now, but there was something out there. It was like programmatic email buying, like ad placement, where it's like you're kind of part of a network and you get placed in there, but it still wasn't like super clean. Still kind of more of a programmatic buy. So, you know, me and programmatic, we don't mesh well. So we never really did it, but the concept of like having more of a dynamic, like not just the one-off buys and newsletters has been around, but this specifically, yeah, man, if they can get enough users on their platform, enough like demographic data or keyword targeting, etc., for it all, it's gonna kill it. And I think it's a great way to sell advertising in newsletters. Newsletters has just picked up like crazy over the last 5 years because they're such an old school tactic before, but they've kind of had a reemergence. Everything kind of is cyclical and comes back around. So I think it's super smart. I think it could be great. I would definitely try it out. And
I
if you
would
can get
love
placement
to
numbers,
test this.
impressions, clicks,
100%.
100%, dude. Like I need another channel for my clients to go through. Google is Google, Meta's Meta. You know, it's like give me something new. I've been waiting for the last 10 years.
He mentioned something really interesting too of like they have a ton of data. So I think they get like 400 million monthly I don't know if it's monthly impressions or monthly opens or however he stated that. But like in their back end, they know which newsletters drive clicks, they know which buttons are being clicked on, they know who's being engaged, which was another interesting point. He's like, dude, you could have a campaign where you're like, hey, Morning Brew, it sends to 3 million people. So you get like 3 million opens. He's like, in this ad system, we could actually parse out that ad placement across like 10 different newsletters. And maybe some of
Yeah.
those only have like 1,000 subscribers, but those people are dialed in and really engaged audience. So we might actually be able to get you way stronger ad placements as opposed to just one large buy. You could be spread out across like 10, 15, 20 different newsletters that we know really drive open rates or their user data, where they're located, what links they've clicked on in the past. So if they've clicked on sports links, or if they clicked on, I don't know, like maybe
Oh, for
right
sure.
leaning links, or like whatever the case may be, they really have a good profile and demographic built out. It's like, dude, this makes so much sense, and I could really see this evolving and expanding. Kind of like how like podcast advertising has like really blown up as of late. I could see this being another wave here, and another just ad placement in general for advertisers.
I definitely think this is something that should happen. I think even knowing that if they're going to build an ad platform around this, that's going to help people create newsletters, right? It's like the only reason, like, okay, one of the reasons, like, okay, do we need to start a newsletter, the collective newsletter?
We
Maybe,
do.
I don't know. But it's like, okay, what do we do with that? Um, we're just going to send it out and gain subscribers and then go start pitching it to people to buy our ads. But if I'm part of the Beehiiv network, I could have literally 50 subscribers. Maybe there's a certain threshold, but there's 50 subscribers. Um, I have a chance to monetize with 50 subscribers. That's going to get a lot of people starting a newsletter,
Yes.
for sure.
That was a huge point and a huge component that they underscored in there. And then the other thing too that I thought was a fascinating idea, that's more of like a business idea and an agency idea, is like, if you're a YouTuber right now, or an influencer of any sorts, and you have like a large following, you could be a young college student, or just anybody in general, and you could approach them and be like, dude, I will grow you a newsletter, and I will get you $10,000 to $20,000 recurring revenue, and you don't have to do anything. So if you're a YouTuber right now, or a podcaster right now, I could then transcribe, maybe even using like an AI tool, some of the key topics of your podcast. And then you already have a ton of people listening to your podcast. You can get like 2 to 3 to 5% of those individuals to sign up to your newsletter. You overnight have a 10 to 50,000 email newsletter subscriber base. And then you have these automatic ad placements within your newsletter, where you're just getting sponsored subscription from it. You're already creating the content. So if you're thinking about like an agency play, or like a potential like test or expansion there, or just like want to make money online, you literally could reach out to like YouTubers, influencers who have a large audience, and say, hey, I could get you $20,000 a month in recurring revenue. You don't have to do anything. All I'm going to do is repurpose your content, and I'm going to use templates that are built out in Beehiiv, landing pages that are built out in Beehiiv, and just repurpose your content. And then you're just going to give hey, this is good to go, or this is not good to go. And then you could take a percentage of revenue, or just have like a retainer base. It's like, that was such a good idea for a new like kind of agency format there.
Yeah, I mean, agency format, I could see Beehiiv building something into that. Like, hey, upload your podcast transcripts. We'll go ahead and tap into the OpenAI API. We're going to go ahead and transcribe this, and we're going to make it into a newsletter based on what you have. And then here you go. Use us, for it. Because like I'm telling you right now, what we'll do after this podcast, we'll get the transcript from Riverside. We'll throw it to ChatGPT, and we'll tell them very specifically, like, hey, use this transcript to create a newsletter, with bullet points, links out to what we're talking about. It might get there. We might have to massage it a little bit, and then just throw it up onto Beehiiv, and there you go. We have our first newsletter
We
that we
really
didn't have
should
to
do
write
that,
anything.
Steve. We really should do that. And like every, I don't know, Friday, or like once a week or something, we're already talking about 4 to 5 different topics a week on this
Yeah,
podcast,
just changing it.
changing to
Yeah.
new format.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a conversion of format. Now, getting subscribers, that's going to be like, okay, you build it, doesn't mean that they're going to come. So, in this scenario, so it's like, okay, how do you get the subscribers?
They have an
Um,
interesting like referral program here as well, where like they will have like pre-built-in referrals based off of like
you got
industry
the referral
interests and
system in
stuff like
there.
that. That could be a component of
Mm.
it. Promoting it on the podcast, like doing like personal outreach and stuff. I think we could probably like figure that out. But I don't know. I think at the very least that would be like a cool learning lesson along the way, to like figure out like newsletters, because like I haven't done a lot of like newsletter work in my career. I read a ton of newsletters currently, but like I don't know. I think this would be like an interesting format, and see if that could kind of grow.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so. I was going back to, okay, if we started a newsletter, I'm like, oh, just AI the shit out of it. Like, right. We'll just tell them, like, find the top news stories about SEO and put it in here. But it's like, what do people I don't know, at least me, maybe it's not the right view of it, but I think there has to be something genuine or unique about newsletters for you to be subscribed, keep opening, keep looking at it, right? It's a personalized touch. It's just curated news, but there's something there. And I think the way we do podcasts, it takes a curated list of topics that you could just disclose to AI and make it really generic. But if we add Steve and Trevor's and Ricardo, whoever guests as well that we have on, but their opinion weaved into it, I think that makes something more genuine for someone to subscribe to.
100%.
Because I know there's going to be people like any industry that like, hey, they're already been doing it with newsletters, like just AI build a newsletter, get subscribers, sell space, and you'll still have that. But it's like, how do you make it really good? I think transcribing a podcast could do it. Potentially.
Also, clips. Like if we could just like truncate this podcast into like a 5-minute recap where we can get like a couple like heavy hitter points of like our takes and like even just like industry updates. Newsletter, 5-minute video embedded, and then below it is
okay.
like, you know, some
All
of the
right.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
unique,
100%.
you know?
Yeah, so I'm thinking. Yeah, so I'm thinking of other podcasts that I know we mutually watch. Let's just use one that, like Huberman, right? He does an okay job on like. Actually, Joe Rogan's actually a better example. He didn't do a good job on like. He just puts the content out, but it's not structured. So there's other people out there that are taking his podcast and like making it into a more digestible format of like, here's what they talked about, etc. Imagine if Joe Rogan had a newsletter, right? That was of the latest podcast. Maybe you never watch it, but it's another way to monetize it towards like, yeah, it's those clips that come up, based on it. I think it's a natural way of getting content that's good.
That would be
So
sick.
I would look at that.
I don't even know.
It's like
I don't know anybody who does this. There might be a newsletter out there, but think about that. If you had a newsletter where it's like, in our example, it's a marketing newsletter, tech, whatever. Every Friday, you're going to get like 5 bullet points or whatever, like 5 to 7 topics in the industry, headline, video clip of it, and then a little written synopsis with maybe links below it. If you're not a person who likes to digest and like read shit, click on that video. Oh, that was interesting. Cool. Let me see what they said about that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Great. And that's how you would digest content. I don't know. I think that's like there's something there, and that would just be an interesting concept.
Yeah, you break down something. It's tough because I think there's long form. I think people digest both of them, right? Like the short, they don't have a lot of time. Just give me the highlights, and then if you want to watch the whole thing, yeah, I think you can still make good monetization out of that too. Different channels. So
link out to
okay,
the full thing.
well then let's just transcribe this podcast. We'll have to see what it comes up with, or maybe we'll take some previous ones because we have content, right? Which is great. So you can always take the previous transcripts and put them out there and see what it comes back with.
Dude, I listened to this podcast and I was thinking of like, dude, I just need to like build an agency around this. But now this idea, I feel like this is a legitimate thing that we could do. And I don't know. I feel like there's just a ton of opportunity in this space here. And I think it would benefit both of us to at least try and test something like that, because I think newsletters are just going to continue to grow in popularity. So like it would just be beneficial just to like get some learnings and some insights at the very least. If we didn't do anything and it didn't pan out, I think it would just be a great like learning experience in general there.
Yeah, I would almost like kind of going back to like, okay, out of my clients marketing agency world, I think I'd rather have my clients spend time creating a newsletter database and content than blog posts, right? Because it's going to be probably more worthwhile. I mean, most of the time people are just creating blog posts so they can share on social. Maybe there's an SEO play to it. Yeah, I think it'd be probably money more well spent on the newsletter content than anything else.
100%.
It's just more engaging than a freaking blog post that you're getting SEO traffic that's super top funnel. It doesn't do any conversions.
We're gonna. This is something. I'm glad that we like randomly like riffed on this one here, because like I think there's something here. This is this more to come on this topic. More to come on this topic. And if you follow and subscribe to the pod and we get this newsletter going, you better subscribe there. Would really appreciate it.
So that will actually be our first time we'll see, based on like subscribers to the newsletter, how many people actually watch this or listen to this
Yep.
shit. That'll actually be a tangible. Then you get people's email addresses, right? Yeah, I want your email addresses so I can do something with them. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
those be safe, of course, obviously, but there's all sorts of things you could do with them. Okay,
That's good
cool.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Guess
All right, let's
collective newsletter is coming.
yeah, absolutely. More to come on that front. Let's talk about some like holiday campaign updates. I found some interesting financial stuff that I think ties to the holiday season. That I think I would like to at least share. But just in general, I would say overall, in terms of the campaigns that our team's been managing, like mainly on like the performance max side of things and shopping campaigns, we've seen great return on ad spend across a handful of different industries here. Seems like this time of year, obviously people are conditioned to buy, but like all things have been smooth thus far. I know we did a breakdown in a previous episode in terms of like here, I think we gave like 10 ideas, maybe in like episode 6 or 7, in terms of like some things to consider if you're running paid campaigns for like the holiday season there. But just in general,
Mm-hmm.
things been running pretty smoothly. It sounds like same kind of deal for some of the tests that you were chatting about.
Yeah, things have been running pretty smoothly. The one campaign that we talked about previously, where we looked at last year's conversion rates numbers based on the week from like November to the end of December, and we adjusted our budgets to match, spend more in higher converting weeks, or some of those weeks were not Black Friday or Cyber Monday days. That campaign is doing well. I'll have final data at the end of the month, into December, but it is performing quite well. We're spending less and getting more, what every client wants. So,
You love that.
So far that hypothesis is working out. So,
Well,
but I
one
know you
thing,
were talking about Trevor. Yeah, I was going to bring it up. I know you were talking about, I was like, hey, people are buying, right? They're totally, the demand is there. They're buying, but I'll let you jump into your kind of some interesting data on why is consumer spending so strong.
yeah. So this I came across. I want to say like maybe like a Twitter thread around this topic, and then honestly maybe even like Morning Brew. But I think 2 points that are like really interesting in terms of like consumer spending continues to rise. And I think we've been heard for like months now of like, hey, we're like about to head into a recession. Maybe like we already were in one. But it seems like every time like there's a um, like an earning report update or just like a GDP readout, it seems like overall like the economy continues to grow and like spending continues to hold strong. So I came across 2 different data points that I think are just like interesting just to note here. So the first is, I think I came across this on a Twitter thread, but essentially like 401k hardship withdrawals are on the rise, um, in the worst way. From this CNBC article here, I just highlighted maybe like a call out here that I thought were like extremely interesting. So more participants took out loans and hardship distributions compared to this time last year, according to Bank of America's recent participation pulse report. Roughly 16,000 retirement savings withdrew money from their 401k plan coverage to cover financial hardship in the second quarter, up 36% year over year. And it looks like the same deal on the side of Vanguard, where Vanguard has stated similar things. The data from a report tells us 2 stories: one of balance of growth, optimism for young employers maintaining contributions, contrasted with a trend increased planned withdrawals from these like hardship retirement funds. So individuals pulling money out of their 401ks year over year to essentially like, I don't know, make credit card payments, fund their holiday season shopping sprees as well. The second piece of data here is buy now, pay later landscape in the United States is poised for significant growth, with a projected annual increase of 51% in payments to reach like one of their highest levels in 2023. And this was by Business Wire. So they did this analysis. So the robust growth trend is expected to continue over the medium to long term, showcasing the industry's resilience and potential. Um, I don't really so and maybe like the last thing here to note is the annual growth rate for this is 30 almost 32% between 2023 and 2028 for kind of like that growth trajectory. So you got to think like overall spending for Black Friday, Cyber Monday increased year over year, but 401k withdrawals significantly increased and buy now pay
Yeah.
later significantly increased. I don't know if that's a
So
positive for like the country
click on
here.
the link. I in the chat I sent you a link. Click on that. We're gonna add one more stat to this.
Let
I
me
saw
pull
that
this up
this
here.
this week. Oh wait, is this what year is this? 1 second. I'm trying to get the right year on this one. Oh, is this wrong? Published 2019. Wait,
So this
this
is
was
yeah, this
something
is
I saw the other day.
2019.
But there was another one that was very similar
I think it's like
about. I saw it on
$800 now
Twitter.
though. So this one is saying that like 43% of Americans in 2019 say they couldn't say they can come up with like they could not come up with $2,000 for an emergency. I want to say that figure now is like $800.
Yeah, gosh, let me log into my Twitter account that I more just what do they call it um, the casual creeper on here where I don't go through. Yeah, it was unusual. Wales had posted something. I'm pretty sure. God, he goes so much into this. I'm
Oh,
not gonna
he
be able to
great
find it. But it
follow.
was basically
Unusual
the
Wales.
same yeah same concept though of like um yeah, people don't have money in their savings. They're pulling from like now we're talking about 401ks. Housing market is crazy, but yet the economy and people are buying stuff.
It seems
It
fake.
makes me nervous of what that means long term. It does,
Yes.
right? It's like, hey, money was cheap in the financial when things are, money was cheap when the rates weren't high. Rates are high now, so buy now, pay later. Okay, we'll do that. We'll kick the can down the road. We'll pull from 401k. Unfortunately, that just sucks. If you're in a position that you have to do that, and it's like, but the holidays still have to be done, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what that means, man. I don't know where we're headed on that side of things because from a marketing perspective, like, hey, clients are paying us to spend the ad dollars. It looks fine, but like true consumer spending and like where we're at, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna have some sort of compounding effect. 3 6 months from now, next year, I don't know.
It's such a catch 22 like being in this industry here. Like seeing that, I don't know. I don't know if we've like mentioned this
So
before with like what were you going to say?
no, so it's safe to say it's kind of a catch 22 being in this industry. I I've told the story a couple of times. I don't know if I've told it on here, probably not. But when I went to college, where did I go? San Diego State, like marketing degree, right? I don't know what the hell I wanted to do. I was just expected to go to college, which, yeah, sure. That's a whole other rant about college and providing value with a marketing degree. Like, dude, they had like one internet course. It was like, this is a website, this is email, and this is a banner ad. There's nothing about Google Ads, SEO, or anything like that. But anyways, I remember sitting in the class and like realizing, I guess, a marketing degree, you have to realize that it's kind of a cynical way of looking at it, but we're making people buy shit they don't need. And if you're not okay with that, then you should probably walk out the door. I remember saying that in class, and people looked at me like I was fucking crazy because it is a catch 22, right? Marketing has just always been around. Typically it's influencing people. So I should actually rephrase that as making people buy shit they don't need that they can't afford, because that's always a part in there as well. It's that kind of materialism that we're working in. So yeah, it's totally a catch 22. We work in it, we see it. Yeah, it's not like we're doing charity work.
It's so and I had we might have talked about this before, but like the rise of like buy now pay later options of like Klarna's of the world and a handful of others. I know that got a ton of VC dollars there, but I was thinking like, dude, these companies are exploding in valuations, but like, is that a good thing? Is that like a positive thing where like you can now just like buy a TV and get on a payment plan, or like a new couch and get on a payment plan. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't, it seems to me like that's not a
Long
positive
term,
thing.
right? Yeah. Yeah. It's short term gains for everybody, but then long term, if you can't buy it, can't afford it, theoretically you shouldn't buy it, right? But that's hard
It
for
is.
everybody. For it, and people are in different financial situations that, those things actually have an advantage, but hopefully they're not buying things that they shouldn't be. And it's more like normal household goods, etc. But yeah, it's a weird one, man. I don't know. Like, yeah, consumer spending looks great. But all these other metrics don't support that it's healthy money.
Dude, I would love, and I don't know if we're gonna have this happen anytime soon, but to get the CEO of like Klarna on here and like to ask them questions about like just their thoughts on this topic. Like, what is their like position on this? Like, I would assume they have some type of like mission statement, like, hey, like we're helping people like do something, but like I don't know. I'd really like to hear that perspective and get like a different perspective on this topic here because I don't know. I guess you could spin this as a positive, but I don't know. I think that that's a tougher
You
one
spin
to.
it because you're a marketer.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh no, we're giving credit opportunities to people that would other be underserved.
Like, what is
Um,
their? Yes, yeah, like a good like copy. What is their? What is Klarna's mission statement?
I don't know. There's a sustainability statement. Let's see.
Do they have one? That's a nine. Okay, so like I just quick Google found it in 2005. Wow. Wow, that's way older than what I thought. In the 18 years later, technology has evolved and excited and transformed the world around us, yet our mission remains as relevant as ever to make paying as simple, safe, and above all, smooth as possible. So,
That was from
I don't know. It doesn't
2005.
really
You
get to
said?
the. It
Yeah.
says essentially like their mission remains the same as ever to make paying as simple, safe, and above all, smooth as possible. So,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like a micro bank. It's like micro loans, man. It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
Because that's gonna be toxic, right? I mean, it looks. I mean, I've seen it before, and you're like, "Ooh, cool! I can split this payment up. There's no interest fee on it, etc." But like, dude, you screw up a payment or something gets weird, and it's like, dude, micro loans like that could be like, yeah, death of like 1,000 cuts. That it just would be, yeah, very bad.
Not great. So I don't know. This is going to be something interesting to keep an eye on here because I think this is more of like a macro economy picture that
Yeah,
could impact
it's
everything.
funny because like we have a really interesting insight to it just because of where we're positioned, right? Where as marketers, we're spending the dollars, etc. But we see these numbers and it's just like, hold on a second, like this doesn't make sense. Like the math doesn't add up. So I'm not smart enough to figure out the equation of what it's going to be, but yeah, I know the math doesn't add up, unfortunately.
uh,
Damn it, Trevor, we need optimistic news. Let's do optimistic shit.
you want to get into some
I guess
open AI Sam Altman stuff?
no, fuck, that's not optimistic. That's just drama. I mean, we could. I mean, I don't mind.
How about all
Yeah, I
right?
mean, that was just a quick whirlwind, right?
Let's touch on
Let's
it real
talk
quick
about
and then
Sam
we'll
Altman
end
real
with like
quick.
some YouTube stuff here.
Yeah. So ChatGPT, open ChatGPT is a year old as of what was it, November 30th?
Wild.
Um, and so yeah, 1 year of us having actual ChatGPT, which is kind of a trip to think about. I use it every day, and so if that was taken away from me, that would not be fun. I think I'd have to work harder. I have to be more articulate on certain things. And yeah, it's kind of funny though that it's like been a year and they had the whole drama with Sam Altman and being kicked off. What was that? A couple weeks ago, he was kicked out as CEO.
I think 2 weeks ago. So what was the actual? I don't even know if we got like a definitive answer, but it sounds like the board was a little uncomfortable with his future plans and felt like he didn't communicate well enough with them. Is essentially why they wanted to remove him.
Yeah, there's that for sure. That's what there was kind of thrown out there. More aggressive or conspiracy theory thoughts, or he stumbled upon a finding of like true generative AI that could gain conscious to it all, and it would be kind of revolutionary. Like it would be AI on steroids that could open up Pandora's box. My conspiracy theory is that Elon Musk somehow talked to the board members because he's very conservative on that. Like, we need to pump the brakes. Let's throw him out. So that's my conspiracy that Elon talked to the board. The board got on board on kicking him out, but it didn't work. And now Sam Altman's back.
I could see that. I could totally see that. I know. I thought that was so interesting because it was like literally like a day. He got like kicked off, then Microsoft brought him onto the team, and then he like got brought back on, and I don't know. It was interesting. I thought at the very least it was kind of cool that that the team like rode for him. Like majority of the people were like down to like leave the company. I think that I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that was somewhat cool and interesting to see that like he at the very least and like the team believes in him. You know, like if you're working on like some revolutionary tech, you probably like really enjoy that opportunity and like what you're doing on the day to day. And if you're willing to leave the company for like the CEO there, I think that at least speaks volumes to the type of leader the guy is. I don't really know like a ton about him. I've just heard like Paul Graham say he's like the greatest entrepreneur of all time and like some of those statements there. But I think that at least like speaks volumes to him that like a lot of people are down to leave.
Yeah. But like, shouldn't we know like what the fuck was the issue?
Yeah.
Like, this is like the biggest game changing technology that's out there that they're at the forefront, yet we don't get to know the issue at this company. Like, dude, that's wild to me. Like, we should know what that is. So what? Maybe it's something super petty and maybe even embarrassing. Like, dude, just let us know so we're not having like crazy conspiracies about things because we should know. I want to know. Because it sounds pretty critical to what it was, you know. I just can't believe we like even like the letter they published today about him being back as CEO. I mean, it's so fluffy and friendly. Not trying to ruffle any feathers, not getting any details. I was like, dude, what was it? Like, I don't want to like be dramatic about it, or you know, but I think it's important for us to know as a society what it was. I guess not. Nope.
I guess they just want to keep like the rumors going, keep things interesting there, so people keep talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I guess he's back as CEO. Yay. Cool.
Interesting to see what's going to happen here with that product there, if any of those like rumors come true there. So we will see.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll see where it goes. I mean, 1 year in using heavy AI, what's another year going to look like? It's going to be interesting to see. We'll have to do a reflection podcast on that at some point.
100%. All right, let's end on
Watch
like
ourselves
this
talk about
YouTube
this
stuff
last year.
here. All right, Steve, you sent
Yeah,
this
the
through
YouTube
here. I didn't
stuff.
even
Yeah.
know like what tube filter is. So like what is it? Like what's the deal here?
I don't know where it came across this. It could have been one of the newsletters, probably more than likely. But it was just interesting. It was like top most viewed YouTube channels worldwide for a given week. I guess they publish per week. I'm no idea how TubeFilter gets this data. We're just going to trust that it's true. How they collect this, but I was just kind of curious, like what's on the list. You know, uh, yeah. I mean, if we just this is all filtered for the U.S. The one that you're looking at. Yeah, this is perfect. So it's like I don't know. I watch YouTube. My kids watch YouTube, but like some of these channels, I'm like, I have no idea who
Dude,
they are. Like,
same.
sure, Mr. Beast sitting up there, but it's just for the week. So I think if a video goes viral, it gets there because some of these guys don't have like crazy subscribers. I mean, sure, they're in the millions, but not like Mr. Beast size. But like the toy review stuff, that stuff is still kicking as like kids that are put in front of YouTube, and it's the vlogs that happen. And like my kids have seen, you know, the family vlogs of they just record themselves. I mean, obviously there was that crazy case of where like, I don't know, did you hear about that crazy case of was a YouTube family that dude, they ended up charging the mom and her business partner like some crazy child endangerment, abusement because like they were feeding their kids and stuff. It was
Dude, we
all
watched
crazy
it.
scripted.
There's a documentary on this, I think on Netflix or something, or Hulu or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Nuts.
crazy. Yeah, it
Crazy.
was weird, man, because like like we were out, we were fortunate enough to be able to go out to Hawaii as a family a couple years ago, and my daughter, we were at like a luau, and she's like, Dad, it's the blank blank family. I'm like, who? What? Like, yeah. But they're there like filming a YouTube video there, and my kid was like starstruck. They're normal people, but it's just kind of weird. Like they just turn their lives into a reality show and go from there. Like that privacy stuff is
I could
it's
never
pretty
do
crazy with
that.
your kids.
That's wild.
Yeah, man, I'll have to tell a story for another time, but just the privacy side of things of your data that's out there for your kids and stuff like that can be dangerous, especially now with AI. If you're putting pictures of your kids out there, etc. I know you're sharing it with family and stuff, but I mean, it could be now swapped and used for whatever they want, be it video, audio, for the worst things in mind your mind can
I
get
saw
to,
that reel.
for putting it out there before your kids
Yeah.
even at a consent age. I had an incident about probably 10 years ago where I had it wasn't a Twitter profile, it was like another service that wasn't out there, but it was like an RSS feed that was publishing stuff for like family, social. It was like kind of on a blog. I was just kind of posting stuff out there. And I had pictures of me, my wife, my first kid. Um, didn't really think much about it because it wasn't really a big thing back then to like vlog or put your stuff out there. It was just, hey, this is the internet. I'm putting kind of documenting it. Well, I ended up my family, me, my wife, and my daughter at the time. She's only like one. They had enough photos to where they used my likeness as the person that was catfishing someone else.
No way. You were. Wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't
Wow.
personally catfished, but my family and photos were used by the catfish person pretending to be me. I forgot what names they used. Um, it was the weirdest thing ever because the only reason I found out about it uh, was
Did Neve
that I
contact you?
got a So no, I did not get those guys officially to contact me. I actually had the person that was being catfished contact me through Facebook. It's like kind of that Facebook Messenger other section. And I was like, what is this saying? Hey, someone's been using your photos and likeness. Um, I just like fell in love with this person. It was like all this crazy stuff.
Wow.
And like the kid was still mine, but then like my wife that was in it was like my best friend or something like that. And like, so this person went on like when she found out, or she or he, I can't remember the scenario, but it's like she found out she's getting catfish. They like reversed image, looked me up, figured out the real profile, reached out to me. She ended up giving me someone's telephone number that was supposedly the person. I ended up talking to this individual. It ended up being a girl and not a guy.
Dude,
Dude, it was like
what?
the craziest thing. And I'm like talking to this person, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, etc. I ended up filing like there's something digitally you can file for it all. Luckily, I mean, no financial or anything like that information. It was just image and likeness was stolen or used. But I scared the crap out of them. Never heard anything about. Didn't hear anything back from like the not necessarily police report. It was like an FBI like you can
That's
submit
crazy.
request. But yeah, that was like 10 years ago. And so ever since then, I'm like, yeah, that stuff's just, no, I'll just text you a picture.
That's crazy. Maybe it
Yeah,
was
it was a pretty
because you're
wild
either
scenario.
a great looking dude or you just posted a ton of content and like you just had a lot of content and there at the time people didn't post nearly as often at the time.
It was a combination of both for sure.
Dude, that's fucking
So
crazy.
yeah, it was kind of yeah, it was one of the first times I was like, wow, that's the power of the internet and didn't even think about it. Like I would have never known either, you know, what's out there. So yeah, just be careful what you post out there,
Dude, be careful.
especially of your kids,
Yeah.
because that stuff can be used now with AI to generate a bunch of other stuff. I don't know, start a text thread with your family
We're
or
headed into
private
a
social
weird,
media.
weird world there for sure. Weird times.
Yep, for
I
sure.
I think one note that does stand out to me on this here is it does say 50 most YouTube channels this week, and it'll give you like breakdown of all time views and subs. Mr. Beast is crazy. I think he's like the most viewed YouTuber of all time, or one of. I mean, I guess Toys and Colors might actually have like more all-time views here. But it looks like here on for the United States, I guess these are just mainly YouTube channels, and then these are like majority shorts because this is like your
Mm.
little shorts logo. That's what it seems like, which is kind of interesting because if you scroll down here, it looks like the vast majority are shorts, which I think just speaks to
Yeah, they're
shorts
catching up
content.
on that
You
short
know,
content. Yeah, unfortunately, fries your brain,
it's just
in my
all
opinion.
shorts.
Well, and then YouTube's going to let advertisers
Get some
finally put
placements in
ads
there.
on shorts.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something new that they know that they're launching out soon, or if they haven't already. So they're moving towards that short form content, keeps people on there. But um, yeah, don't do the reels, man. Just don't don't do it because you just spend freaking 20 minutes going down a rabbit hole. And you're like, how did that happen? Yeah, just don't do it.
No.
It's cheap dopamine.
It really is. You know what I did recently is I'm a definitely a big Twitter guy. I just put a time lock on Twitter there, and just in like your little settings, you could have that. I forget what I set it to. I think like
Yep.
40 minutes a day or something like that. But trying to like not do it in the morning when you wake up, and just it's honestly made me way more
Yep.
conscious of like not checking it and trying to check it like I don't know like once a night just to see like what happened in the world or like maybe. But dude, you could easily get in like that loop of just like checking Twitter or like I know TikTok's like the worst with that. I don't even have it, but
Yeah. No, I did that. I got that locked in with Twitter a couple weeks ago. A month ago, I was pretty consistent after everything going on in the Middle East. I kind of rebooted it in because I follow like some real time military stuff guys, and I was like, dude, I'm on here way too much. I'm seeing too much stuff, like too much input. I had to literally like delete the app and just like take a break. And now it's like only voluntary. I'll go in and maybe look on the desktop or something like that and
it's the way to
see.
do it.
But it's like I know that I'm consciously like going into a dumpster fire of like just not the best emotions that come out of it. That's the thing. It's like you want to know, but it's like I never feel great afterwards.
No,
Yeah,
100%.
having those limitations on it is key. But those time locks are good for sure. It's a reminder that there's other places you can spend more time and energy on.
Yeah, like Beehiiv.
It's tough to do though. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, let's get that first newsletter out. Let's get this transcript. Let's end this pod. We'll get the transcript and we'll go from there. But
Let's
yep,
call it.
it's officially December, so there we go. Holiday season officially starts. So
Yes, sir. Alrighty, folks. Thank you
all
for
right,
listening to
guys,
another episode. We are in double digits. We're gonna surpass the 10 mark. We can promise you that.
100%.